So, this is it. This is the place I write. You might notice that over my shoulder over here, there's another monitor. That's where my wife writes. And we have our little spaces, and sometimes we work together on stuff, and, we do things on our own. As you saw from the picture, it's a dual purpose space at least. I have my musical equipment there also. So it's a very comfortable space for me. I'm always here. This is where I think, this is where I run to when I have an idea about just about anything. When I want to learn more about something, even though math is not my absolute best subject in the known universe, this is where I come to get more knowledge. So my internet connection's here, and when I want to learn more about producing music, because I have lots of software for making that happen, and when I want to research the latest stuff, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at when I'm making music and when I'm writing music, and as a consequence, this is the place I'm at when I'm writing. I use my laptop sometimes, but my laptop is really, it's sort of like a backup. When I get tired of just sitting here, I will often go over to my bed and lay down with my laptop and keep writing. And sometimes I'll go out into the living room if that's a quieter place to be. Maybe my wife is wanting to watch something on the big screen here, and so I will, I'll give her that spot, and I'll go out there and, keep the quiet while I write something, while I create something. And that's really how I like to create, is in quiet. Some people like to have music, we read an article by one guy that liked his music, and I could never do it. As a musician, I'm always instantly drawn into, how do I fit into this piece of music? How do I play this part? And what did he do to record that? Did he use layers here? Which technique did he use to lay down these tracks, and so forth and so on? And I'm, not going to go all into it, but I'm always hearing music in different ways than people who just get to enjoy the music. So I can't have music on when I write. Then from there on, if I really can't avoid sounds, if I can't just have quiet, I would prefer it to be a cacophony, I would prefer it to be so many sounds that it might as well be, no sound. So many sounds that it's difficult for me to just pick one out and follow it, because I've been in sales management, and training sales for so long. My ears are tuned to be able to listen to the conversation I'm having with my customer and the conversation that my trainee is having with his customer, and follow these things so that I can jump in when need to, when I need to do these things. Well, I can't just turn that off. My brain still works like that. So I really like quiet, or I like so many sounds that it's like a backwash of white noise, really. So if somebody close to me is making a little extra noise, I can just sort of open up this ear over here a little more and just hear a little extra of the bland background noise. But when I write, this space here, it suits me, because I jump around from one thing to the next sometimes. So when I'm done writing, I need a break from writing, and I can just reach right over here, grab one of my guitars, and then I can start to play a song, start to record something, just mess around, give my fingers a little bit of exercise. And when I'm done with that, I can go back to writing. But like I said, sometimes I just get tired of sitting here, and so I will go right over to the bed and lay down and keep writing over there. Then, as far as the creativity process goes for me, it's really, there's no way to really call it. Sometimes I like to just I like being given a prompt of sorts. I don't do prompts all that often, but sometimes, I'll go to Writer's Market or Writer's Digest or somewhere like that, and I'll check out and see what prompts they have. And, maybe if I'm going to brainstorm something, I'll probably brainstorm that a lot, because I'll chat with my wife about stuff like that. And, we'll talk about writing and what kind of ideas we have for stories. But if I'm normally going to come up with a new idea to write about, it's really, it's going to be question driven. I'll ask typically, well, what if? And so that will get me writing about something. And sometimes it'll just be a funny story that just comes to, a funny idea, a notion that comes to mind from conversation. I might have a witty observance, and so I want to write something about that, and I will. It's a good thing to do. And then I have larger projects that I'm working on a novel, but everybody and their grandmother's working on a novel, so I happen to be one of those grandmothers, I guess. And so I'm working on a novel, and I will realize certain things as I'm reading the news or so forth, that this works well into my novel. So I can incorporate things that seem like that's plausible. And I will incorporate the nuances from conversations that I've had with people in sales and in so many other endeavors where, we all contact people for whatever reason every day. So when you talk to someone, you can get an idea of what different people and different types of people think like by what they say and what they do. And so you can come up with some very interesting characters by not trying to come up with the very interesting characters. So I like to simply observe people, and then I can take note of that when I write a story. I can, just let that person be my guide. I won't say for verbatim the exact words that they say, but I will like to capture a given person sometimes, especially if I like the person. If I like the person, I'm much more apt to find a place for them in a story, because that's somebody that you study. You've studied for years. You study even more than others because they're very interesting to you. So, crazy, odd people, they're very interesting. Family members, you know them like the back of your hand. My Aunt April plays a prominent part in a children's story that I have. And she has a very unique verbiage to her. So, she really stands out. People that are a little bit odd that, maybe not everyone in the world gravitates toward that person can often be the kind of person that's great in a story. So, when I'm here, I'm thinking about what kind of characters to put into a story. That's where I go to. I go to the people I know, to the people I've met, to the odd situations I've had in my own life, or sometimes heard from others. But normally it's stuff that I've, experienced in my own life, because I've experienced some wild stuff, survived some wild stuff. So I've got a backlog of material that I can really choose from and see as plausible, that may be surprising to some people. And so that's good, because I like surprising people. I like it when I write a story and it's, not exactly where you thought it was going to go. I like it to be enough. I like it to have enough familiarity to really make you feel comfortable traveling that road. But I don't want you to start here and know what you're going to get there. When you get there, I want you to have a sense of surprise, a sense of, this is a fulfilling story. This is complete. And so that's, I think that's what really works well for me in this space, that I don't have a lot of other things to look at. I don't have a window to look outside of to see all the birds flying by and all the people and, to be able to pay attention to the beauty of the day, because I like the beauty of the day. I like to see the sunrise and the sunset and so many things, just like everyone else. I like the feeling of that warmth, and I like to get a smell that all of a sudden brings this wonderful memory back. But when you're farther from the window, you don't get those smells. When you're farther from the window, you don't get as many sounds. It's, I think, better to have a little bit of sensory deprivation, so that for me, I can focus where I need to focus. I have a mind that likes to wander all over the place and work on this, that, and this, and that, and this, and that all at the same time. So if I can box myself in a bit, that works very well for me. I definitely require wrangling. And this space is wonderful. It's my closet. I call it the Ghetto Suburban Soundstage, because this is where I do, all of my musical writing and recording. And so at any moment that I want, I can turn to the piano, I can turn to a guitar, I can get down, my MIDI gear, I can work on art over here. I do some graphic art stuff, not a lot. I can research things. I can read other people's works, and I can write, and I can do whatever I like in this space that blocks off and keeps everything else to my back. It just blocks off everything. And I like that. I like that very much. So, this is it. The Ghetto Suburban Soundstage. It makes me very happy. I like my space.